Welcome to your daily dose of hope. I'm Phyllis Nichols, and I'm glad you're here. Recently, in the book This is Strategy, written by Seth Godin, I ran across a phrase where he talks about being hardwired for hope. And he says that means that humans have an inherent biological predisposition to anticipate a positive future and believe in the possibility of improvement, even in challenging circumstances. He also goes on to talk about how it's not wishful thinking, but just a part of a nature that kind of compels us to move forward, to create, to look for different ways of doing things, try and create better outcomes. And it got me thinking, like, what else has he said about hope? So I did some Googling and I came up with a couple of really, really cool things that I want to share with you today. One of the things he talks about, he was writing about the effectiveness of storytelling. And he shares that anecdotes aren't data for making decisions, but it reminds us that telling stories can be helpful and that hope is real. Here's the actual quote as part of a longer article that he wrote. When someone you know is facing a difficult situation, sharing a positive anecdote about that friend who that one time made it through something just like this, that's helpful. It's a useful hook for hope, and hope amplifies our story of possibility and might make it easier for us to get to where we're going. But stories can and should be used as fuel. I love how he describes hope versus expectations. Here's how he explains that they're not the same thing, even though we sometimes very much want them to be. He says, hope can fuel us. Hope can be refilled. I love that. Hope opens the door to possibility. Expectations, on the other hand, are a trap. They make us brittle and lead to disappointment. When we raise our hopes and lower our expectations, we establish a resilient way forward. I really like that term too, resilient way forward. It reminds us that what we do today impacts what tomorrow looks like. It's not a foregone conclusion. We're here to make a difference and impact that. Lastly, another quote from another blog post that he wrote was, hope is not a strategy, but it's essential. And that reminds us that, hope alone doesn't get the work done, but without it, we won't start. It often is what gives us that spark to begin, or the courage to keep going, or the belief that things might work out and we might be able to make a difference. It's not about wishful thinking. It's about choosing to move forward, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. Hope can help us show up and speak up. And I love how Seth Godin says that. Hope is not a strategy, but it's essential. So here's to a great, hopeful, essential day. This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.